Hello everyone, this is Teacher Phil and this lesson is about the steel industry. The steel industry. Smelter. Smelter. To turn raw ore into usable metal, a smelter heats the ore until it changes composition. To turn raw ore into usable metal, a smelter heats the ore until it changes composition. So this is a smelter. It heats the raw ore. In this case, the ore is iron ore. The smelter then is able to change the ore and get rid of some bad stuff so that all that is left over is steel. Steel. This is an example of steel. These are two bolts and nuts. These are made of steel. Sparks. Sparks. Sparks fly when metal is ground. When grinding metal, wear safety equipment. Sparks fly when metal is ground. When grinding metal, wear safety equipment. So sparks are these things here. And sparks fly when metal, such as this, is ground. And when we say ground, we mean that we are grinding the metal. So you see here we are grinding the metal and the sparks are flying off. So what does a person have to wear? They have to wear some safety glasses, such as these, a hard hat, such as this, and an orange vest, such as this. Steel rusts. Steel rusts. If steel is exposed to water, red rust forms on the surface. This old piece of farming equipment is very rusty. When we say steel rusts, you can say this steel is rusting, this steel rusts. If steel is exposed to water, red rust forms on the surface. This old piece of farming equipment is very rusty. When exposed to water, that means that water gets on it. It's exposed to water. This red rust forms on the surface. The surface is the outside. Stainless steel. Stainless steel. High-quality items such as a lock and key need to resist rust. Stainless steel is used. High-quality items such as a lock and key need to resist rust. Stainless steel is used. So here is a lock, here is a key, and this is made of stainless steel so that it does not rust. And that is what we say resist. If it resists rust, it means it does not rust. Whereas this does not resist rust, it just gets rusty. Crane. Crane. To build a high-rise, which is another name for skyscraper building, use a crane to lift concrete and steel to the top. To build a high-rise or skyscraper building, use a crane to lift concrete and steel to the top. So here is the crane, and they are going to lift concrete and steel to the top so they can build a high-rise building. Steel tube. Steel tube. This building is made from steel tubing. Each tube was lifted to the top using a crane. Here are 10 different diameters of steel tubing. Each tube is the same length. This building is made from steel tubing. We say tubing when talking about just lots of tubes. So it's one tube, each tube, one tube, and a lot of tubing. So each tube was lifted to the top using a crane, like in the previous slide. Here are 10 different diameters of steel tubing. So here's diameter is this. How tall is it? This might be maybe 3 inches in diameter, and this little one here might be only 1/2 of an inch in diameter. So the diameter is this. How tall is it? Whereas each tube is the same length. This is the length. How far this way? That's the length. Brushed finish. Brushed finish. To make steel products look attractive, the metal is brushed using a wire brush. To make steel products look attractive, the metal is brushed using a wire brush. So here's a wire brush, and the wire brush just goes and it makes this brushed finish so that the products look more attractive.